All right. Good morning. Well, we're back again. S265 is the subject. Tuesday, March 10th, 2022. We're discussing problems with Microsoft and open attachment. And because we can't open the attachment because of problems with Microsoft, we're going to ask Ben to share his screen because evidently he can open it, but we can't. So I apologize to those who may wish to see it.
Peggy, do you mind enabling my screen share?
Yeah, I'm all set.
You should be all set.
Okay. Does everybody see my screen?
Yes, yeah, sorry, I'm complaining about my system here.
Okay. Well, again, for the record, Ben Novogroski from Office of Legislative Counsel, here with draft number 4.1 of the amendment to S265. Scrolling down, I've highlighted some of the changes that have been made from the last amendment version to this one. So you'll see in subsection C, the fine was changed from $1,000 to $2,000.
Yep.
In subsection D, there was the removal of the reference to public accommodation, and now various locations are enumerated. So there is an enhanced penalty for a person who violates subsection A of this section by making a threat that places any person in reasonable apprehension that death or serious bodily injury will occur at a public or private school, post-secondary education institution, place of worship, polling place during election activities, the Vermont State House, or any federal, state, or municipal building shall be imprisoned for not more than 2 years or fined not more than $2,000 or both. Subsection E has been revised to reflect the language of intent to terrify, intimidate, or unlawfully influence. So it now reads that a person who violates subsection A of this section with the intent to terrify, intimidate, or unlawfully influence a person to prevent that person from complying with state laws or rules, state court or administrative orders, or state executive orders shall be imprisoned not more than 2 years or fined not more than $2,000 or both. Scrolling down to subsection F, subdivision 6, polling place has now been added as a definition, having the same meaning as in 17 VSA chapter 51, subchapter 4. And subsection H has now been amended to reflect the language that we had previously discussed, and now reads: a person who violates subsection A of this section with the intent to terrify, intimidate, or unlawfully influence the conduct of a public servant, election official, or public employee in any decision, opinion, recommendation, vote, or other exercise of discretion taken in capacity as a, and I am now realizing that there is a slight typo in my haste. So it should read: taken in capacity as a public servant, election official, or public employee, or with the intent to retaliate against a public servant, election official, or public employee for any previous action taken in capacity as public servant, election official, or public employee shall be imprisoned not more than 2 years or fined not more than $2,000 or both. I will exercise a little discretion and remove the grammatical errors if the committee does not mind.
No, please do.
Philip would be proud of you.
So it now reads: taken in capacity as a public servant, election official, or public employee. And so that is the sum of the changes per the committee's discussion. Any questions?
No,
Oh,
I don't have any. I think it's good.
looks,
Senator Nitka,
it looks good.
okay. Finally, I'm able to open it on my iPad.
Oh, okay.
It has now allowed me, they've scanned it down in Washington DC and found that it's okay. Or Bolivia, wherever the scanning takes place. So if you could drop the screen share, please, Ben.
Sure. Senator
And I'm
Steers, with your permission, I'll go ahead and send the slightly revised version to Peggy as well for her to post.
Yeah, okay. If you're able to, Peggy, to delete the prior version on the committee site, then put up the new one.
Yep, we'll do as soon as I get it from, which will take a
Yeah.
few minutes to load. And then I'll
Yeah,
do
and
it.
then it has to be scanned again.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, don't worry about it. Are there any comments on this version from anybody who's in the room? Okay. Hearing none. Um, Do we have agreement?
I don't want it to be a surprise to anybody that I'm still uncomfortable with the bill. I appreciate that you've taken away the felony, which was a major concern. At the end of the day, as a defense attorney, I keep coming back to these are words. And I really don't want to find myself in the position of running counter to something that I have philosophically believed in from the get-go. I understand the Achilles heel in my argument is that people have been crossing a line and that real people are being affected by how they have crossed the line. But I come back to the same thing that I've always believed, that words are words. And I'm very uncomfortable trying to thread the needle that you have done an admirable job trying to thread.
Thank you.
I guess I'll leave it at that.
I believe that it still contains the elements of what back when the Secretary of State sent out his letters, it still contains the the move towards more of the federal definition. And so for that reason, I'm in support of it. I would have preferred the felony, as you know, but it's part of the work of a committee to reach compromise, to have as much comfort with the bill as possible. And I think that we've done that by at least making it a major misdemeanor, which it is now, reminding us that there are other avenues for state's attorneys to use if they so desire. Not the only place. Disturbing the peace by electronic means, other different things. But I did want to mention that, and Max Mish came up, and he has not been convicted of anything yet. That's part of the reason that he's on there's been a disagreement between the court and the Attorney General's office over his status in terms of, violations, but they weren't violations of probation. They were violations of the release order that were set when he was released. I guess you call them conditions of release. Senator White.
I thank Ben for making these changes. I am more comfortable with it. I still have some of the same concerns that Joe has, and I understand that the two things that will be weighed here, if this is charged, is the idea of a true threat and the idea of reasonable person in reasonable fear. So I think that with that it, in my mind, it has to be seen as a true threat. And I imagine that that is something the courts will take into account when they're dealing with this. So I am more comfortable with it.
All right. Is there a motion to report favorably?
Were you going to wait for Senator Baruth or no?
Yeah, we weren't going to vote until he came.
Oh,
I think that's what you said.
I did say that, didn't I?
Did.
So are there any, all right. I did say that. Well, I think we better find some time. Tuesday on the schedule, Peggy.
Yep.
What do we have up first?
We only have 178, the supermajority verdicts.
Could you put at 11:15?
1150.
15. Oh, right. We have until noon. We
Yep.
have all morning, yeah.
So 1145.
11:45 for final vote on.
Okay.
I'm going to say that markup's completed, and if you could just send this out to everybody, Ben, with a note that we plan a final vote on this at 11:45 on Tuesday morning. Does that work for you, Ben? Are you available Tuesday at 11:45?
That works just fine. Thank you.
I can send it out to everybody, Ben. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, Peggy.
Okay. Is there anything else on this bill before we adjourn? Whoop, there's a chat. Thought we disabled the chat. Oh,
That was just
New-
for me.
okay. That, I guess the committee assistant can talk to the chair on the chats. That was what I guess was determined. I don't,
Right.
Yeah, I
it
think,
just said it. Yeah. It-
yeah, people can
it-
communicate with me. I think that's it because I'm the host.
All right. Well, I'm not going to keep us here any longer than we need to be. So.
Okay, well, thank you,
Enjoy
Ben.